The South China Sea is all set to welcome a new visitor, a key NATO ally and the most powerful European country, Germany. Later this year, Berlin will dispatch a warship to Asia. On its return journey, it will sail through the South China Sea. The last time a German warship sailed through these parts was in 2002. Almost 2 decades have passed. Germany has changed, so has China, though probably not for the better. The voyage is scheduled for sometime in August, so the finer details of the plan are yet to be announced. From what we've gathered, the German frigate will not enter the 12 nautical mile zone. The 12 nautical mile zone, this is the hotly contested part of the South China Sea. Beijing claims almost all of it, but international courts have already busted its claims. The German mission sends a clear strategic message: Europe is entering the fray. Last month, France sent a nuclear attack submarine to the South China Sea. It also had a message for China. International law is the only rule that is valid. Now, Germany is sending a warship. Germany and France are the big two in Europe. Thanks to their fat checkbooks, they pull the strings at the European Union. Until now, the EU has been more than happy to just observe the Indo-Pacific. They've ceded space to China, negotiated lopsided trade deals, and largely ignored the human rights abuses. But things may change now. In fact, they're already changing. For starters, the NATO is more engaged now. Its obsession with Russia enabled China to expand. But the new administration in America is steering NATO towards China. Joe Biden has redeployed aircraft carriers to the Indo-Pacific. If there were any doubts about America's new policy direction, Secretary of State Antony Blinken dispelled them.
We will manage the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century, our relationship with China. China is the only country with the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological power to seriously challenge the stable and open international system. All the rules, values, and relationships that make the world work the way we want it to, because it ultimately serves the interests and reflects the values of the American people.
The Trump White House also had a hawkish China policy, but the coalition was not broad enough. European nations were largely missing. That changes with Germany's deployment. Some reports say even the United Kingdom is considering the same. HMS Queen Elizabeth II will begin its maiden voyage in May. It is expected to reach Eastern Asia later this year. The United States is all praises for Germany. The State Department talked about how the voyage would uphold international law and freedom of navigation. China, on the other hand, is livid. Beijing says freedom of navigation cannot be an excuse for undermining sovereignty. Look who's talking. It's ironic considering that China has unilaterally claimed sovereignty over 90% of the South China Sea. But anti-China deterrence is not going to be cheap. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command wants $4.68 billion in the upcoming fiscal year. For the period between 2023 and 2027, it is asking for $22.7 billion. That's a lot of money. America's new Indo-Pacific approach has 5 objectives. 1 is building lethal attack skills. 2, force, design, and posture. 3, strengthening allies, innovation, and logistics. Now, a key part of this plan will be Europe. China and America are waging a war of influence in the continent in Europe. Western Europe is a non-starter for China, but in Eastern Europe, Beijing feels it has a chance, which explains the mass export of vaccines and the seemingly endless line of credit. So will Europe once again be divided into 2 camps? It depends on what Germany and France do. They have the power and the money to influence Europe. Indications are they will stand up to China, and this could mean checkmate Beijing. As always, geopolitics brings a surprise. The key to a maritime conflict in Eastern Asia could very well depend on alliances forged thousands of miles away in a different continent. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.